Today on All Things 80s, A-Team by Galoob. Welcome back to All Things 80s. Now today we're going to take a look at the A-Team figures by Galoob. Now these came out in 1983 and I distinctly remember getting this one, which is B.A. Baracus. In fact, it was the only one I had as a child. These came out, same time as Star Wars was very much the established toy. And given their size and dimensions, they were quite a bit more expensive than Star Wars. And as a result, I only managed to get the one figure. I actually wanted all four, but back then it was all done with pocket money, so it was a case of you could have 2 Star Wars figures or you could get one A-Team figure. And of course, being a child, I always wanted more, so I only got the one A-Team figure. But here I am in 2019 and I've hunted them down. I've got all 4. Unfortunately, could not get Murdock on a card. Almost, just this past week there was an auction and I got outbid at the very last second, and you know what? It was a blessing in disguise because the bid I'd put in was actually way too much for one of these. But I really wanted all 4 for this video, but instead I did manage to find one which is in reasonably good condition. So we do have the full set. Now, like I said, this was 1983, the company was Galoob, and they did a pretty damn good job. So first up is Howling Mad Murdock, and it's a weird looking figure. I guess the way they painted his eyes, he's like looking off to the side, like clearly trying to sort of get his how do we say this in a nice way in 2019, his challenged look, shall we say. It did a pretty good job. Very similar to Star Wars in its like limited articulation, although they do have the knee joints on these figures. They did offer some vehicles. I'm seeing on the back of this one, they have an off-road attack vehicle and a gyrocopter, also a command center, and they did also release, I believe, 4 of the bad guys. I don't have those and I won't bother to get those. I just wanted the main characters. And I think they actually did a figure for Amy, the news reporter. And they do say, it's interesting, let me show you the back of these cards. So this one is for face, and this actually shows the various other toys that were available in this series. Now these two are the same with one big difference. So this one actually just shows the actors portraying each character, and you'll notice this one does have Amy A. Allen, known as Triple A, and it says here, okay, let me just go through all of the characters first. The point I was trying to get was, this one has the same backing but does not have the picture of Amy. But this one, I'll just read you all these. And also in terms of actors, it does say here Mr. T is B.A. Baracus, but there's no mention of George Peppard, etc. Anyway, B.A. Baracus, bad attitude, genius mechanic. Okay, John Hannibal Smith, brainy leader of the team, a master of disguise. Now the interesting thing was, I hadn't given any consideration to the A-Team in literally decades, and for some reason I kept on saying to myself his name was Hannibal Lecter. Duh. Okay, next up, Templeton Peck, also known as the Face. He gets by on his looks. Okay. Howling Mad Murdock, slightly wacky ace pilot. So slightly wacky that's a very polite way of putting it. what's the sort of current way of saying it? Mentally disturbed or lunatic? Anyway. And lastly, we've got Triple A, who is Amy A. Allen. And it says here, talented newspaper reporter. Talented. And it says here, collect all the A-Team figures, sets, and accessories. Well, I wanted to, but they were too expensive as a kid. So anyway, this was the only one I had growing up, BA. Clearly he was the coolest member of the A-Team. And yep, he looks just as I remember him. Although I do remember on mine the gold sort of quickly wore off, the gold paint. But anyway, I'm going to get these opened. I want to touch them. Ooh. So first up, this one is in the worst condition. It is mint on card, except the card has tape and the bubble has cracked at the bottom. And these all did come with a full set of action accessories. Fully posable action figure. So yeah, and they all came with, well, he doesn't. Okay, looks like the other characters came with a belt with a small canteen attached to it. Various weapons, and of course BA with his tool set. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, start with Hannibal Lecter. No, John Hannibal Smith. Don't know how to go about this because it's in terrible condition, and you know what, I'm going to cut this tape off to start with. Okay. And you know what, I don't even know why that was taped, because the bubble is still attached. That's bizarre. Anyway, let's get rid of that. Oh. Man, crazy thing to put tape over, and there's no need for it. But yeah, it's coming off very easily. Okay, there we go. So there's the figure. Gun is slightly bent. Oh, it's very soft plastic. Very cheap. But inside we have, these are called action accessories. So let's take a look. What do we have here? Oh, okay. I thought it was a box. It's just it's not a full box. And in the back, small bag. And what do we have? Okay, that's taped down. Okay, that's easy enough to open. And this is, okay, it's like a backpack of sorts. And this, what the hell is this? It's oh, I think those are bombs. Yeah, it's all just sort of like it's printed, sort of bombs and bullets, but they're not detachable. And you know what? Actually, this is a good guide. That's weird. Okay, the picture here is showing the figure with a gun in his hand, which is this one. But, whoa. Okay, this is really weird. I'll do a close-up shot of this, but his hand it's got a tiny hole in it, and he's got this this shape. But there's no way this gun can possibly fit into that hole. It's just too tight. So that's not going to work. But the picture is showing him holding this gun by this handle here. But with this being completely enclosed, it's just not possible to recreate this. And the backpack thing, okay, it's got four. There are some holes here. I guess they would go over like that. You know what? And what's this? Bandolier with bullets. Honestly, these accessories are, I would deem them as pretty useless. And especially this gun. That is a complete farce. And this belt's quite cool. No, but this is a farce in that, you know, there's no way this gun can be, unless it goes in this. Yeah, kind of. You know what? These are not great accessories. But the figure itself, everything's nice and stiff. You know, but this figure, the legs are very, very loose. It can stand up, I think, which is, whoa. Because for me, these are just a display piece, but not in pack. I don't like displaying in packages. I like to have figures out, and I like to touch them, just feel them. The sculpting of the heads, they're not particularly screen accurate. This is just a generic older guy. And like I said, the hands are very badly made. I don't know if this is like a factory default, but you know, there's nothing that can fit into that little hand that's like that. So anyway, that's Hannibal. In fact, he doesn't even stand up too well. Okay, next up, we'll do BA last because that was my childhood one. This is Templeton Peck. Now this one is actually a reasonably good condition card. It's unpunched. Does have the price sticker on it. Looks like $1.99. Now, I'm not familiar with American prices back in the 80s. So I don't know if this was the standard price or if this was a knockdown price. I do remember Star Wars figures being £1.25, maybe less. So this was definitely at least the price of at least 2 Star Wars figures, hence the reason I only ever got the one A-Team figure. But anyway, okay, I do feel, for the first time in this series, I am feeling slightly guilty about opening something, because this is a pretty nice edition. Although in comparison to BA, the bubble is definitely yellow. The BA figure, the card is terrible, but the bubble is nice. But you know what? What the hell? I want to play with these toys, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful with this. In fact, you know what? That came off pretty easily. So there's I'm not quite so guilty as I thought I was going to be about doing this. Let's see if we can get this from down here. Okay. Yeah. So if I really wanted to display this as a mint on card, it can still be done. I've salvaged the card, so no complaints about opening up these old toys. Now this one, again, another of these stupid backpacks. You know, when you see these used on eBay, very few actually still have the accessories. This one is what? That's like a radio. And that same rubbery strap system for the backpack. This one came with 2 machine guns. Hannibal came with 1. Although his picture shows 2. But whatever. Okay, this one. Oh, it's a squidgy head. I don't know if you can see me. Is this one? Yeah, that's squidgy. And that. Oh yeah, so they all got these soft rubber heads. You see, these do not stand up at all well. In fact, these are similar to the He-Man figures, which is something I never had any of as a child. I don't know why. I watched the cartoon, but anyway, this one. Okay, his questionable hand position. That's got a much a much better hole. He can definitely fit more into his hand than Hannibal can. Of course, he is a younger man, but who knows? So anyway, a couple of guns here. I'll take the smaller one off, just see how that goes. You know, these are. I'm amazed at how well the tape on these things has lasted. Let's see, can this... There we go. In fact, actually, it really doesn't sit in at all well. I'm going to go ahead and say the accessories on these are pretty useless. This does not stay in. And kind of looks like Michael Knight with the leather jacket and the dark hair. But again, the sculpt, nothing like the actor. And the belt, that's okay. His is sort of grey coloured, Hannibal's was black, but it's the exact same belt. And there's no belt on the BA figure. So anyway, that's 3 of 4 out the packet. Keep all these accessories together. I'm going to box up the accessories and never use them again because they are pretty useless. Now this is the one that I do remember, and this one is coming off the card, so there's no concern about damaging a mint example. And I remembered it was a toolbox, and indeed it is. Oh, he has his own belt. It's a different belt. That's like a tool belt, screwdrivers, pliers, etc. And he has his accessories in the little packaging were bolt cutters and the machine gun. And so anyway, let's take a look at this toolbox. I remember it. And this one, the tape is completely gone. There's no adhesiveness left on that one. But let's see this toolbox. Now remember, it came with a strap. Hopefully the strap's inside. There's nothing in that. Or is this the... No, this is a belt. Hang on. I'm not seeing a strap for the... Okay, here's a bunch, like a drill, saw. Even got a little thing of drill bits, hammer, spanner, torque wrench, screwdriver. Wow, that's interesting, but there's no strap for the toolbox. Weird. But yes, this was the figure I had. Wow, this one's very stiff. And what about his hand? Yep, he's got the same thing going on. But can he hold anything? Yeah, he can hold the torque wrench, and it does stay in, but very loose. What about screwdriver? Yeah, that fits in quite well. But interesting that they've used a different colour of paint for his bracelets than they did for his chains on his neck. That's weird. And see, this one's suffering that thing whereby the plastic over time does start to break down and seep out. Some of the chemicals do seep out and sort of leave this weird sort of frosting effect. I'm going to say I'm a little bit annoyed here because I do remember the toolbox having its own strap. Well, having its own strap to, and the box even does show him with the strap over his shoulder. Perhaps I can modify, but is that going to be long enough? Let's see. So this was the strap from Hannibal. Because it looks as if Hannibal was missing one of the guns, but it came with a strap. And BA is missing the strap, so maybe we can somehow get this all to piece together. I don't know. The molding on these things is pretty bad, actually. But nah, even if it does fit, it's too short. Oh, come on. You know what? I give up. And you know what? I really just wanted these for the figures. So yeah, let's just see if BA can get his fist around this big gun. Ah, come on. Yeah, you can see how it's weird how the inner bubble has yellowed, but the outer one did not, whereas with the other figures, they all kind of had equal yellowing over all the parts. Now, it could be that I've been ripped off and this was previously opened, but I doubt it. It was just one small part that wasn't sealed, but who knows? You know, I can't even get this off. It doesn't matter. The figures are what I was interested in. So that's BA, that's the face. Oh, come on. See, these will require some form of stand, but unlike Star Wars, there are no holes in the feet to mount them on pegs, which is a little bit annoying. So I'll work out something for display purposes. Okay, and then this one is loose, and then this one. There we go. The A-Team. So, a little bit disappointed with the accessories, but in terms of the figures themselves, finally I have the full set. Like I said, I have no intention of going after the bad guys, and the Amy figure is something that I think is going to be pretty hard to find, given that any boy that was collecting these back in the 80s would not have thanked you for getting the Amy figure. I know I certainly wouldn't have. And so there we have it. Glad to get them in my collection, and I hope you enjoyed watching that unboxing. Hopefully my disappointment didn't come across and ruin the experience for anyone else. But I think, like a lot of these toys back in those days, the accessories were pretty crap. And in this case, extremely crap and pretty useless. But I got them now. I got the full set, so thank you for watching. Please do like, please subscribe, because we have a lot more unboxing of these old toys from the youth. And stay tuned for more. Thank you.